So Viraj, you told me that you conducted a lot of experiments to try and crack taste. And since taste is so subjective, it is very difficult to put math or science to it and say, oh, you know what, we've cracked taste. But then you have done it at scale. So how did you approach this problem? And I'll tell you where this is coming from. This is because I studied KFC, Starbucks, and all the other companies. Every time they enter a market, especially Japan or China, because these countries are so culturally different as compared to the US, it becomes extremely difficult for them to crack that market.
Right.
And India is also another classic example of the same, whereby when I went to Japan and I had their McDonald's ka burger, it was terrible. And that is when I realized that there is such a drastic difference in the burgers that we eat and the burgers that they eat. So they say that, we have to cater to the Indian taste palate. And here you mentioned about the Southwest Chipotle and the sweet onion sauce. But how do you do this by design and not by chance?
Be ready for a slightly long answer.
Okay.
And number one is, in India, the taste changes every few hundred kilometers. So
Yeah.
I was very clear that we will not dabble in Indian products, because out of our entire 90 products on the shelf, we have only one tandoori mayonnaise, which is a North Indian centric taste, but we are responsible for bringing outside taste into India. I'm not saying Western taste, I'm saying outside taste into India, which means that rule of the products changing every 500 kilometers did not apply to us. We have a phenomenal R&D team. So how the process starts, first thing we make is completely indulgent, full fat, full sugar product. It's very tasty, usually made by a chef in-house. After that, this amazing team that we have, headed by a lady called Dr. Shilpa, this team, their job is to take this full fat, full sugar product, make it plant friendly. So step one is we make it manufacturing. What is made by a chef might not be manufacturing friendly, right? Second is, step two is we make it manufacturing friendly. Step three is we keep reducing salt, sugar and fat from that product. And we take it to a level where how do I put it? Where we have an internal benchmark कि इतना fat हो जाए तो चलेगा, इतना sugar हो जाए तो चलेगा. When we try it at R&D, we are trying it against the full fat, full sugar product, which is far tastier. But our consumer is never trying that. He's only trying the stripped down version, because we want to give healthier products to our consumer. So internally, Veeba, by the way, is the only brand. If you pick up our Southwest Chipotle, we not at back of pack, front of pack, we declare sugar per serving. We are very transparent with our consumer. Fat per serving, sugar per serving, we declare front of pack. Now, let's say if our internal benchmark is 2 grams se zyada nahi cross karna, we will reach that place. Once we reach that place, then we will have a consumer survey. In the good old days, I mean, not the good old days, but when we started out, my friends were my guinea pigs. So whenever you go to people and you say, everybody, and rightly so, Ganesh, everybody is an expert on food. Everybody is an expert, right?
True.
So my trick was, हमारे घर में अपने हम friends को बुलाते थे, without telling them, me and my wife, we would put 3-4 dips with our snacks. If I ask them, यार इसका feedback दे दो, हर बंदा बोलता है इसमें नमक कम है, इसमें चीनी ज़्यादा है, इसमें ये है वो. हमारा सिस्टम क्या होता था, हम बस रख देते थे. अगर पार्टी के बीच में उसको refill करना पड़ गया, so without telling people, if they're dipping and going back for it again and again, we used to realize कि लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है.
Wow.
And if it was untouched, like in the party, वो पूरी party में आधा भी नहीं खत्म हुआ, that means people are not loving it. They've not gone back to, because if we ask them, everybody is an expert and everybody would give advice. So at that time, we used to do this. Today we have a consumer panel. We'll get 30-40 consumers. We'll ask them for blind advice. You give feedback without your name so that you can give. So that might comprise of few employees के फ्रेंड्स, माई फ्रेंड्स, माई फैमिली, ऐसे करके हम एक पैनल बना लेते हैं और उनको फीडबैक देने को बोलते हैं. एंड दे गिव अस फीडबैक. एंड नाउ वी आल्सो अंडरस्टूड कि क्या फीडबैक मांगना चाहिए, क्या नहीं मांगना चाहिए. सो नाउ इट्स अ बिट मोर फॉर्मलाइज. वंस द फीडबैक कम्स इन, इफ इट इज abnormal, which means 1 or 2% are saying something, 80% are saying this is okay, then we disregard the 1 or 2. But if the bulk or 40-50% are saying कि नहीं इसमें मिर्ची कम है, then that means मिर्ची actually कम है, because if bulk of the people are saying that, After that starts the science part of it.
Okay, I just have to stop you here because I need a little bit elaboration on the feedback part. What are the questions that you ask them during feedback?
So first of all, I mean basic stuff like does it look okay?
Look, okay.
Even for a sauce, look is important.
Okay.
I mean, imagine you're making a wrap and then you've got a really ugly looking sauce going and making everything dirty. So look is important.
Okay.
Second is, does it smell good?
Smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third is, imagine you open a bottle and you get a bad synthetic note. How horrible will that feel? So does it smell okay? Number three is obviously taste. Then smaller things like bite size. Is it viscosity? Is it too fluid, too lumpy? Were you able to mix it in your salad easily? Were you not able to mix it in your salad? All those questions come in.
Okay.
And then the product finally gets approved. And because we are a very agile company, this entire thing that I've spoken about should take less than a month.
Less than a month.
Yeah.
Okay. So on
This
an
is not
average,
normal. For a larger company, this should take about 6 to 8 months. But at VRB, it should not take more than a month.
And how many people taste the product on an average?
Before launch,
Yeah.
if I had to put a round number, under 50.
Under 50. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we come to the science part.
Yeah. Then a pilot batch is made. The pilot batch is then made at the plant, not at the R&D center. It is made. अभी तक जो भी हो रहा था वो R&D center पे हो रहा था.
Okay.
Now a pilot batch is made at the plant. We compare the plant pilot batch to the R&D batch. If that approval comes to me, the final taste approval still is with me. As I said, this wonderful colleague of mine, Dr. Shilpa, she will do everything with me. And after it goes to the plant, we put it under study, which means every microbial test, every chemical test, every physical test, everything will happen. And then we will study that product for its entirety of its shelf life. Once we get confidence, let's say if you're giving a product a 9-month shelf life, it'll be studied for 9 months. So we do everything in 1 month, but the shelf life part, we do the whole thing and then we launch the product.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching the Indian Business Podcast. If you find value in our work, please hit that subscribe button because for you it might be a zero effort task, but for us that subscriber count is an important instrument to get great guests to our podcast and to make this podcast better for you. So if you find value, please subscribe.